When you visit stalls, be sure to allow yourself plenty of time because everything you see is going to stop you in your tracks. But when you roll up on this baby, take an extra moment or two because it's different and different than anything else you'll see in the collection. Of all of Ed Roth's wild and wacky creations, his dragster-inspired, bubble-canopied, one-eyed Cyclops Mysterion just might top the list. It did for a young man named Jeff Jones, who was captivated by the car the first time he saw it.
My obsession with that car began in the very beginning when Ed Roth was building his fantastic plastic cars. I was 13 or 14 years old, and Rod and Custom had just come out with a couple of teaser articles on the building of the car with Ed Roth all covered in plaster and being the crazy guy he always is, and I was just hooked.
Tom Wolfe described Roth as the Salvador Dali of hot rod. And in many ways, that's what Roth was, an artist that happened to use the automobile as his canvas. Roth completed the Mysterion in 1963. He eventually rented the car to show promoter Bob Larrabee. During its travels to various events around the country, Larrabee eventually discovered a crack in the frame. Roth asked for the car back, minus the front and rear axles, and expected payment for the damage. He never got the car, nor the payment, and the whereabouts of the Mysterion became a mystery.
From the early 60s till the rest of my life, I was just driven to see if I could reproduce that car.
Jones would have to start from scratch. He created a 1/8 inch scale model that he used to painstakingly duplicate the Mysterion's dimensions. He researched and recreated Roth's building methods right down to the plaster molds and exact fiberglass used on the original. The original Mysterion was equipped with a pair of 1950 Oldsmobile V8s. Those were eventually swapped out for a pair of Thunderbird 350s. And while the original frame was made of steel, it wasn't thick enough to withstand the weight of both motors, and eventually the frame cracked. So in Jones' recreation, he once again replaced both motors, but only one is operational. The other happens to be hollow. Obsession may not fully describe what was required to pull off Jones' tribute to Roth. Right down to every hair of the fur-lined interior, it's every bit the work of art Roth intended. The longer you look at the car, the more you see, and the more fascinating the creation and the story becomes. Roth's creations and his rat-fink character endure to this day because they defined an era of hot rodding excess, free thinking, and counterculture. Weird, odd, and different in all the right ways, the Mysterion remains a showstopper to this day.